Hey, welcome to Thinking is Contagious. So many things to talk about. Frustrated. I don't know. I'm sure you're keeping up with everything that's going on, but the Democrats, the agenda, the plan is crystal clear to me. It's crystal clear to me. Today, I don't know if you heard about this recurring payment concept, which means at the same time I'll get back to it. Recurring payment concept. At the same time they're floating the recurring payment concept, they're talking about don't let your guard down because we've noticed a flattening out in the decrease rate of the cases. Of course, there's going to be a flattening out in the decrease. The lesser cases there are, you're going to flatten out. Uh, and then the recurring payments. This, folks, does not bode well. This is just socialism. The pandemic, the virus, is the vehicle to bring in socialism. You know how we said the plan is to overburden the system till it implodes, and overburden with entitlements and manipulating the system until it implodes, then blame capitalism as the problem and bring socialism in. Well, guess what? They've fast-tracked it. They're just putting socialism in. Recurring payments means that people are never going to go back to work. The Democrats want to set up a system where people just get paid not to work, to stay home. They want to keep the the economy shut down. They want to keep the schools shut down. They want to make the majority of the country dependent on that government check. And they've come to the conclusion, after doing their math, that they can afford to send everybody X amount of $1,000 a month and buy votes with that. And it's cheaper than everything else that we're getting done right now. That's how their logic is. The failure, the hole in their equation is all this stuff about raising the taxes and creating new taxes on the rich. Guess what? We've said this a million times. The top 10% pay 70% of the freight to turn on the lights of this country. The top 10% pay 70% of the cost to operate this country. If you're going to take away the capital gains incentive, long-term capital gains, if you're going to lower the inheritance tax threshold to $3.5 million, if you're going to add a wealth tax, people, you may think, you may say today, it doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect me. I'm not in that bracket. Good. Let the rich people pay more. People, you're going to pay more. First, the people who are billionaires and 100 millionaires, what they're going to do is they're going to cut back. Their lifestyle's not going to change to pay this tax. They're going to cut back. Already, you're seeing job creation going to a point where for every 5 jobs lost, you're creating 1 job. Because automation is coming in. Technology is creating automation, and we are going to replace people with automation. The minimum wage fiasco that's being purported, that it's got to be $15 minimum wage, is just going to fast track. The same way that the COVID fast tracked the online, the minimum wage fiasco is going to fast track the robotics, the artificial intelligence, and the technology to replace human beings. This is all an attempt to fast track and make this country socialist. We need to do something about it. And the most disappointing thing was Donald Trump on Sunday saying that he's going to do this through the Republican Party. People were lost. You can't count on Trump. You can't count on the Republicans. You can't count on the Democrats. We are in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble. Because the Republicans are just as corrupt as the Democrats. They're just as self-serving as the Democrats. The only difference between the two is one's in power now and the other one isn't. This is a total deception of the hope that I had that 2022 and 2024 was going to bring something around that was going to truly create a change. It's not. It's just a different party, that's all, but it's the same BS. It's the exact same BS. And we are in a lot of trouble right now as far as what the Democrats are putting in place. These stimulus packages, if you really analyze what this $1.9 trillion is, maybe 300 billion of it, 400 billion of it, maybe 500 billion, I mean, is directly related to COVID relief. The rest of it is a joke. The rest of it is pork. The rest of it is paying off your backers. The rest of it is vote buying. The rest of it is incentivizing socialism. The market realizes that. The stock market is the only place that you can really get a barometer as to what's really happening in this country. That's why the Democrats and the liberals are so quick to point out that the stock market, oh no, don't listen to the stock market because most people don't have any invested in the stock. Almost everyone is affected by the stock market, directly or indirectly. People have 401ks, people have IRAs, people who work for corporate America in publicly traded companies, people whose jobs, their private companies that they work for are supported by publicly traded companies purchasing their products and goods and services. The publicly traded company, the stock market companies, are critical to the health, the welfare, the well-being of America, all Americans, from the unemployed to the richest, okay? But the Democrats and the liberals tell you, no, that has no relation. You know why? Because they don't want you to understand the correlation, and they don't want you to understand that you can read the tea leaves by seeing what the market is doing. The market has been for 1 month now in terrible turmoil because they know, the market knows, you don't mess with people's money. And these are people who know about money, and they understand interest rates. They can only keep them down so long. The Treasury, the 10-year Treasury busted through 160. It settled back down to the 145 range. Guess what? That cannot be manipulated forever, even though the Fed will try. Powell, joke. Yellen, joke. Okay? And if you start analyzing where rates are going, then the story that they're telling you that there's no inflation, the abomination of the closing of the pipeline, the oil dependency that we're creating again in this country, the amount of jobs that have been lost, and John Kerry telling people to go become programmers or sell solar panels. People, this is Venezuela, this is Cuba, this is socialism. We need to stop this. We need to stop this. We're being led around by people who have never created. What job has Elizabeth Warren ever created? What job has Bernie Sanders ever created? What job has AOC ever had until she conned a district into voting for her? Look at Newsom in California. He's being exposed for the fraud that he is. Cuomo, we don't even need to talk about. If what Cuomo has done and said was done by Trump, forget impeachment. They would have had a hanging. He would have been hung in the public square, okay, without a trial. But it's a Democrat, so he's going to get the process, due process. We're in a lot of trouble. Trump has added to it. I am totally disappointed in Donald Trump. Totally disappointed. There is no reason whatsoever to say that you are going to be part of the Republican Party. You're going to lead the Republican Party. The Republican Party turned on you. It is part of the swamp that you've identified. And all you're doing is slowly, Trump, becoming a swamp creature. Because you so badly want to get back into power, directly or indirectly, that you're willing to play the game of the swamp. If you really meant what you say about making America great and going out and doing things the way that they're supposed to be done, you would say goodbye Republicans, goodbye Democrats. I'm rolling the dice and I'm going for it with my own party. Or I am creating my own party and I am going to get behind whoever, Ron DeSantis, whoever he decides. But this cannot be a Republican or a Democrat. If it is, sell everything you own. I don't even know what to say about sell everything you own because I don't know what you would do with it. We need to really, really get a hold of this, and we need to let our voices be heard, and we need to defend our rights, our liberties, our freedom of speech, our ability to conduct business in the United States of America the way it's always been conducted. But right now, we are part of a giant Ponzi scheme, vote-buying Ponzi scheme, where they're taking money from those that produce it and giving it to those who are being promised a life of not working, recurring subsidies, and all you have to do in return for that is make sure you vote for me. That's what this is. Thank you, and have a good day.